I know that there's going to be men out there who are going to watch this film and go, well, I can fix her. And to those men, you're fucked. Get checked. Something's off. Might be psychiatric, might be psychological. We don't know yet. Get analyzed. Number 2, I'm going to do this in 2 parts. Okay, I'm going to do the non-spoiler review. All right. And then I'm going to do the full-on spoiler review. And I'm going to give you 15 seconds, 15 solid, yummy, amazing seconds for you to decide what you're going to do next. Okay? Don't say I didn't warn you. I can't properly talk about the movie the way I want to without spoiling some shit. And again, not a critic. I'm just a nerd. I love this shit. I love this medium. So I just want to talk about films. But for some of you who have shown some care for maybe my opinion on films, I will do you a really good solid, and then I will give you a review that scathes the line and won't say anything outside of what's in the trailer, and that's it. And then I will do a full-on spoiler review where I can just word vomit everything that I want to say about this movie, because in order to give it proper praise, I have to talk about some shit. So I will give you 15 seconds between both sections to make your decision. Whatever that decision is, just know, please don't go off on me in the comment section that I spoiled anything if you stay past the spoiler warning. You have been warned. This is your first one. But for now, we're just going to start with the non-spoiler review. And I'm going to try my best to not move outside of the borders and confinements of the trailer itself. So, you guys already know what the movie is. There's been a lot of hype preceding it. There's been a lot of word of mouth preceding it. So I don't need to tell you what this movie is about, except that it's a wish gone wrong. He wants to be loved by someone that he's had a crush on for a while, and that wish goes oh so horribly wrong. And I want to be upfront and say that usually with movies that have a lot of hype behind it, I have kind of a weird attitude about them, where I'm like, nah, fuck that, it's gonna suck. And not because I'm trying to hate, but just because hype is a weird thing. When you jump on a bandwagon of hype, you either convince yourself that the movie is better than it actually is because you don't want to say anything different, or you completely hate on it. And I don't like hating on things, but I like to set my bar so very low, just on the off chance that, like, I risk having an over excited and hyperbolic review. Like, I want to be as measured as possible. Review, I hate that word. I want to have a measured opinion about anything I watch. And of course, I'm only human, and as a nerd, I get excited. But I can honestly say that in terms of hype, this movie lives up to it. I think that what Curry Barker does so brilliantly in this movie is the way that he treats his very heavy themes of obsession and codependency and consent, and weaves them so perfectly into an arena of horror that it is flawless in its execution. It's not a creature feature. It's not a slasher. This is the most high intensity version or embodiment of the worst side of love you can imagine, embodied into a horror film. The horror comes from incredible lighting. This man's lighting is fucking hell so good. The sound mixing does so much heavy lifting in this movie. And the disturbing and uncomfortable situations that he has written these characters into had my entire theater giggling with nerve and anxiety. The implications of everything that is happening, the things they don't show you but are implied, are some of the best since Hereditary, and fall in line with the kinds of films that you remember being hallmarks of horror. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Scary Movie 7, when the next one after this one uh comes back and tries to wait, this one's 6, right? No, we're on 6 now. If Scary Movie 7 or 8 decides to parody this film because of the sort of cultural mark it's gonna leave. And I was very like, there's just no way. Like, every time that a movie comes that's hyped as hell, I typically go, yeah, I don't understand why. I don't know if it's just the ambiance in which people get to see the movies, and film festivals, like that, the energy is always heightened and people are excited. So obviously that's going to lace your experience with some kind of level of bias. But you know, I haven't gotten there yet. So I can say that I went into this movie very measured and was just so surprised that it did so many things so perfectly. Curry Barker described this movie not as a romance, but as a love story. And when you watch the film, you understand why. Romance, you're trying to show the best version of yourself to court someone, right? Romance, rom-coms, all that. Love doesn't always paint itself in the best light. Love, in any aimless form, is irresponsible to give if you're not emotionally healthy, mentally healthy, balanced. Like, providing and giving love is a responsibility, right? I don't mean to get philosophical in this bitch, but providing love means many things, and it comes in many shapes, and it is flawed as can be because it's from human to human. It is very flawed. It comes with baggage. It comes with preconceived notions. It comes with trauma. It comes with history. So I see why he said this is a love story, because you could put anyone into this film and it would make sense. It would be relatable, even though it is a heightened state of horror. The themes in this movie about consent and about obsession and codependency are at the forefront, and they demonstrate to you the most severe versions of these things and turn it into a complete and utter fucking horror movie. There are moments that elude, and I caught many references, at least, well, I wouldn't say many. I saw many references to many horror films of this ilk, like Hereditary, but I saw a couple references to The Exorcist that you see towards the latter half that had me so happy, from ear to ear, from earlobe to earlobe, from Dumbo ear to Dumbo ear. I was smiling. It was just so nice to see one of the better ways to pay homage to something like The Exorcist. My God, because that is my favorite film of all time. So I'm obviously very a stickler when it comes to that. But man, what a great way to pay respects to some of those scenes. This movie is horror. If you watch it in a big theater with people, it will be a reactive experience. People will laugh, people will scream, people will giggle. The whole theater was giggling the first half and literally shocked and laughing from how creeped out they were the last half. This movie has an incredible fucking pace. Like, Curry Barker knew exactly what story he wanted to tell. This is so focused and so small and so intimate, and the horror and the levels that we ascend to as we descend, that'll make sense if you know what I'm trying to say. The levels that we ascend to in this descension are so palpable and built up, so there's a calculated notion to how he moves about using the lighting, enhancing the supernatural elements when they exist, enhancing the themes in between those elements, to have them weave together to give you an experience that is utterly visual, visceral, and emotional. And this man has done it. So whatever he's gonna do with Texas Chainsaw Massacre's remake, trust me, I am so fucking on board. He even said that he wanted to do he had an idea for Nightmare on Elm Street. Give it to him. Just give it to him. Like, genuinely, if it's even just on pure visuals alone, give it to him. Do it. The guy is genuinely deserving of whatever comes next. And this will be a movie that every movie he makes will be measured against, like a lot of debuts are. It happened to Jordan Peele with Get Out, and everyone's like, oh, you'll never live up to that again. And this might be the curse of a great debut film, is that, this is a high bar to climb. So good on him. I'm very excited to see what he does next. This movie has my full fucking consent. Please go watch it. All right. Now you got 15 seconds to go somewhere, go knit something, go eat something, go take a shit, make sure you wipe. If you don't know, I am buying time as I'm speaking. In about 15 seconds, I'm going to do the spoiler review. Now in about 10. So, I'm going to just talk about my personal life for a little bit. I had one dog once. I've always wanted a dog. I only had one, and it died. was very little. Never had a dog since. I've had like 13 cats though. Just I don't know. The cats and I, we have a thing. I don't know. That sounds weird. That sounds off. I didn't mean like we have a thing. I mean, anyway, 15 seconds are over. So, spoiler review incoming. There's a few things that I have to talk about this, that I have to speak on, that really are essential to why I really like this film. And I understand the hype. The implications of what this thing is are simply implications. There are a couple moments in this film where there is enough to fill your imagination. And there's a moment where he's calling, that you see in the trailer, where he's calling to cancel his wish. And while he can't do that, the man on the other line offers him an opportunity to hear and speak to the real Nikki. And when you listen to her, she just screams. Just guttural, visceral, violent scream, like she is being tortured in the very bowels of hell. Like, it's insane. That implication alone builds something in your mind. Where is she? Is she not in her body? Can she not see this? Or can she see, but as she's watching through the eyes of her body being taken over by something of which we don't know what origins, could be cosmic, could be theological, it could be so many things, but you don't know. But you wonder, does it come from us? And that's where the cosmic elements come in for me. A little bit of me thinks this is a cosmic horror through and through. I don't see it any other way. Too much is left ambiguous, and rightfully so, it should. There are moments, now the references to The Exorcist, oh my God. There is a moment in bed where they're sleeping and he gets up and she starts talking, but it's not her as we see her in the film, this, taken over by this wish. It's the real Nikki who's being held prisoner by something on the other side. And she says, "Help me, kill me." And it reminds me of in Reagan's belly in The Exorcist, when she had the words "help me" and she was writing them from inside her body. Now, apart from all the brilliant references to films that have left a mark on the genre, I do got to talk about the themes, because the themes here are really what amplify the horror here. Aside from all the implications about what this thing could be, where it comes from, what's happening to Nikki within her own body, the themes here of consent and the worst, and like the dark side of love and obsession. This is a story about consent. There's a few moments in this film where Nikki kind of breaks out of the trance, seemingly the trance that she's in. And when she breaks out of it, she becomes a terrified version of the real Nikki herself. And it's as if she doesn't remember, as if she's been kept cooped up somewhere so horrifying that when she gets a moment to breathe and see the real world for what it is, the world that she's no longer in control of, she just bursts her lungs screaming, very guttural, very visceral, and it's very impactful. Like, this actress, I always thought of awards as kind of, just a bunch of rich people stroking each other. But I genuinely think she deserves acknowledgement for the role, because this role feels emotionally and physically heavy. There's a lot of physicality behind her character that some of the greats would be, a lot of Jim Carrey came to mind, because, in his films, he tends to have a lot of facial acting when he's not speaking, a lot of physical comedy, and there's a lot of physical absurdity in this film because of her character and how deep she dives into it. So much so that even in her facial reactions, she looks like she could have prosthetics on, which she doesn't, but it's insane how much of herself she gives into this character. The themes of consent, though, are deep, interwoven into this film, and that's where the real horror meets real themes. And she wakes up out of these out of the trances that she finds herself in. It makes me think of people who deal with the aftermath of sexual abuse. A lot of her depiction of this character is one that is repressed, and when she finally gets to break out of this trance, you see a violent reaction from her, one that is very much remembering the horrible things that have happened to her. Our main character is having sex with her, and there is a moment where Nikki is looking away from him, disassociated, and while it's not really, he is having sex with this supernaturally imprisoned version of her, this other thing that's taken over her body, you can tell the look on her eyes is the Nikki that's locked inside, having to endure this non-consensual interaction. This movie elicits a reaction, and it is very much an interactive film with a large audience. But now being at home thinking about it, the themes have lingered very much so in my mind and have made this film an extremely good example of nuance and expressing themes without blatantly shoving them in your face. And I think that's one of the biggest things that this film succeeded, is somehow putting the horror in the forefront. But when you think back to those horror moments, the things that make them truly horrific are not the things you're seeing on screen, but the implications of the things that you're experiencing on screen. And like I said, I'm still thinking about this shit. Like, I'm still thinking about the idea of consent. I'm also thinking about the main character himself and how he's morally gray. The title Obsession isn't merely about her. If she is really the victim here. When you think about him and you see how he realizes what he's done, there is a moment where you see him question, well, are things better this way? And that in itself, when you see it from a perspective of someone who is depicted as very weak and very much someone who doesn't understand the metric of balanced masculinity, right? So to me, masculinity is being able to balance both the vulnerable side and then also knowing when to put it away for a side that is more reactive and to the point, who can sort of put these things away and reflect on them later, because right now we need to make a decision and we need to act, right? And there is no balance to his character. He is fully one way. And to see that depiction of him at the beginning and then see the arc towards the end, this story works because he isn't someone who understands balance. He is someone who doesn't really have a backbone. He's kind of a bitch. And because of that, when he finally gets this to sort of turn to his favor, at least for a little while, with little effort, simply a wish, you kind of see him as pathetic. And then you see her as the victim, and she is, because there is a lack of consent to all of this that's happening to her. And it's just really brutal story when you think about it. And I'm sure there's going to be so many analysis videos later on about this film and what it's telling you. And who knows, maybe one day I'll do it. I've been wanting to do one about The Exorcist, but being my favorite film ever, I just don't know what new I can say that you can't find on the internet already. So I don't know if it's maybe just for me and less about you guys hearing it and more about just me wanting to do it. But hey, maybe one day. But I know for this definitely needs somewhat of an analytical breakdown in many, many ways. And I'm very, very happy for Curry Barker. I think that he has done something so extraordinary with his career path from YouTube to skits to this, and doing his feature on YouTube as well. The guy's got a bright future ahead of him. So kudos to him. And yeah, man, that's my spoiler review. I don't want to. I'll spare you the end. I'll spare you so you guys can enjoy that, even if it is a spoiler side. I still want you to experience the end in its full, grandiose, hellish conclusion, because the ending sort of reinforces what I just said about consent, and then the movie ends, and oh boy. So anyway, that's my review. That's my spoiler review. That's my everything. Please, when you guys watch it, come back. Tell me in the comments if you love this movie and enjoyed it as much as I did, because I do think it's going to be a hallmark in horror that many, many people are going to reference for quite a few years. So that's it. Thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, thank you guys for being so interactive and commenting and sharing and liking. You guys are wonderful. I will always say it at least once every video. And yeah, that's it. as always, I'll see you guys at the movies.